All right, so I'm going to show you how to do basic plotting. Basic plotting, getting the exact proportions of your photo that you're working off of to match the proportions of the paper that you're working on or that you're going to transfer it onto, be it a canvas or a piece of paper. What I did is I set up an exercise here, as you can see on this paper. I have several different shapes. I have a triangle, a heart, and a couple other different objects. And I'm going to show you how to plot these, okay? But a couple things that you need to figure out first is you need to figure out the edges and how they line up with your paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this out first. So by cutting this out and getting this to line up to the edge. So I could do all the way around. And does it have to be a perfect cut? Not really. As long as it's as bad as that one, that's for sure. There we go. Okay, so if I want to get that set up, I'm just going to work on this corner. Now what you'll notice is this line here, the edge of the paper, is lining up with the actual edge of the canvas or the manila sheet of paper. This edge of the photo or the paper that I'm working off of is lined up with this edge, and it all comes to that corner, and that's important, okay? Making sure that you have both of those set up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a yardstick, okay? Yardstick or ruler. Yardstick's going to be a little bit easier to work with, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out where this heart is, okay? So that seems to be one of the easiest ones to do, and since this is lined up to that corner, it's pretty simple. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this line going up here. Okay. So where does the middle of the heart intersect the top portion of my photo? Okay. Where does the center of the heart intersect the edge of my photo? Okay, so the top and the edge. Now these points, this point and this point, those are the important points. Okay, usually whenever students try to plot this, they'll try to get the heart involved and try to line it up, and it does not work. Okay, so this corner is very important for plotting the heart. This corner is important. That point is important. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to take this corner here to this corner, or to this point, and I'm going to see where it intersects up here. So point 1, that, lined up to point 2, that, and where it intersects up here. Okay. Next plot point I had to figure is this point to this point and where it intersects over there. So point, I can do that right, point to point to where it intersects right there. So now, right now I have that point is that point, that point, that point, and all I have to do is do the same thing I did here. Draw a line down, draw a line over. So let's do that. And so right there, where those 2 points meet, is where the heart is going to sit. Pretty poor looking heart that I drew, but I think you get the idea. Okay. So that is how you do plotting for something like that. If I wanted to plot, say, this gray circle right here, I would figure out where it intersects up top and figure out where it intersects on the side. You might want to use a ruler for that, but just throwing that out there real quick, that's how you would do it. So I would go point to this point to where it intersects over here. I would go point to this point and where it intersects over there. Where these two would intersect would be where the gray circle is. Okay. Now, a couple of these might be a little bit easier if you move things around. So let's say I want to get this triangle. Well, if I want to get that triangle, it's going to be a little difficult for me to do it from here to get it over to there. So what I'm going to do, go back to my cutting. Might as well cut the rest of this. And if I go up to this corner, and again, I'm lining that corner, I'm lining that line, that corner, going all the way down there. And all I would have to do with this one is I would see where the triangle intersects down low and where it intersects on the side. And I would go, point 1 would be here, point 2 would be there, and where they would intersect would be somewhere down there. So 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let's see how that works. So 1, 1, 2, 3. Okay, do the same thing over here. 1. So 1, 2, 3. Where those two intersect is where the triangle will sit. Okay. So that is plotting. Key things that you have to keep in mind. This is a 12 by 18 sheet of paper. These proportions right here are exactly 12 by 18. Okay, so that's important. So just trying to get a photo and just trying to copy, it does not work unless both things are the same proportion. Okay, so let's look at something in real life, because you're not just going to be plotting circles and triangles and everything like that. So we've got a photo here. If I am trying to plot something like a photo of a whole bunch of different leaves, okay? Now, on this, I've already put a circle here and a circle there. I'm trying to show that those would be two key points to be able to plot. So, if you figure out where the top is here and where the side is there, you could figure out where that edge of the leaf is. If you figured out where the top is here and where the side is there, you can figure out where that edge is, okay? And that would help you to figure out how to draw this, and that would get your sizing right. A lot of times students will start drawing this one leaf, okay? So let's say we draw this one leaf, and it would take up half the page without them realizing it. If you start out and you figure out, okay, I know that the top of the leaf is not going to go any farther than any higher than that. What you could do is you could just take that to there. You could just plot that point. And what you would do is you would set up your paper, again in the corner. Kind of difficult to do this here without cutting it, but hopefully you get the idea. As long as this line is lined up with there, and this line is lined up with that, and this corner is sitting on the corner of my manila paper, I could go from point to point, so from point to where it intersects there. That would be how high that leaf would go. So plotting a couple key points here and there would be a great way to be able to get started. Okay, does not mean that you have to plot everything, but maybe finding a couple key points in here will help you immensely. So hopefully that helps you. If you have any questions, obviously email me, and I'll try to answer them. So good luck.